former boss, and also my friends, and all members of AACIM, and all participants, ladies and gentlemen, and Salam Aidil Fitri from Negara Brunei Darussalam and from UNISA. Thank you very much for inviting me to present in your visual conference today. So I'm trying to scope my discussion today, something related to Negara Brunei Darussalam, especially related to education. And then my friends, Professor Dr. Sahimi, brings the halal concept to a global perspective. So in my case, I try to limit only what happened in Negara Brunei Darussalam. And of course, so many issues that related to halal products in Negara Brunei Darussalam. And then the most important one that we have to know in regarding about the halal education as means to uphold the sanctity of halal tayyiban products. So in order to what we call to materialize the objective of Islamic law, especially related to the halal products, we have to aware about the issues that happen around us in Negara Brunei Darussalam, in Muslim countries, as well as in worldwide. I summarize the issues that related to the halal education, mainly because the verse of the Quran that mentioned Hurrimat alaikum al-maitah wad-damu wal-lahmu al-khinzir ila akhir al-ayat. So mainly the issue that related to the carrions, issues that relate to the blood, the issues related to the pork or pig, and issues related to slaughtering, halal or non-halal slaughtering, issues that related to alcohol, issues that related to contaminations, issues related to the dogs, and then issues related to human parts that become parts of the ingredient in certain products, and also issue related to najis or unclean. So basically it can be summarized whether it is legal or illegal, whether it's clean or unclean. In another context, maybe called as tayyiban or non-tayyiban. So the product that available in the market that become the issue, as I would like to highlight here. For example, using the product that available in the market, cosmetic product known as kupute, right? Kupute. And finally, according to the what we call the judgments of the community as well as the fatwa, this product has been banned because of mercury issue. Is too high in that product, so becomes harmful to the consumer and it's not suitable, in another words, so not in line with the halal and tayyiban concept, or specifically not in line with the tayyiban aspect, that is what we call good as well as healthy. So the another issue related to the halal product that commonly debate in our society, that is what we call kopi luwak musang. So nowadays this issue has been settled already, because you know, as far as Muslim and non-Muslim keep to drink what we call the coffee, including also kopi luwak musang. But the problem is, as you know, the way to produce this kopi luwak musang also very significant. So produced from najis of luar, this is the way how to produce that kind of the coffee. So become the issue, as I mentioned to you, whether it is considered as najis or otherwise. So in this regard, we have to refer to so many mazhab in order to know the real status of this product. And finally, the fatwa has been issued. I'm not going to detail about the fatwa of the product, but in my situation today, just to highlight the issue before I give the solutions, what we call based on the halal education. And the next issue, as an example, regarding about lindesi puk babi, dalam kosmetik. So as in the image, they so many very high and international product, what we call, use this kind of ingredients in order to produce what we call the cosmetic, which has been used not only by non-Muslim as well as the non-Muslim. Because sometimes from the name it says, linde siput babi, so babi here associated with the pig, so sometimes the Muslim become sensitive with the name. And finally, how to settle this problem? We need also to know what we call the fatwa behind this babi, and then I explain to you briefly in my slide here. But again, I'm not going to detail about what is the fatwa behind that, but I would like to highlight the issue before we come to our second part of the discussion, that is halal education as the means to uphold the sanctity of halal tayyibah product. The next issue related to plasma darah or the blood. As I mentioned to you earlier, based on the verse of the Quran, and especially carrions, the blood, the pork, and slaughtering without halal or non-halal by the Muslim or non-Muslim, stunning or non-stunning, all this becomes what we call sensitive by the Muslim. So because of that, what we call the halal science or halal product, halal education becomes very attractive disciplines by the Muslim as well as by the non-Muslim. So nowadays we have so many products that relate that use plasma darah for certain purpose. So therefore, for example, if we look to the process, some people use the concept maybe istihala can be solve the problem of plasma darah in the product. But finally, if we say that the halal product mixed with plasma darah, and plasma darah, as mentioned in the Quran, haram, so maybe the final result must be haram. This is the general concept, because so therefore we have to understand istihala, istibra, and so on. And then to know all these issues, we need also to study, especially what we call the subject related to the Sharia. But no doubt, the Sharia alone cannot uphold, cannot maintain the sanctity of halal product without the assistance or the help from scientists or technology disciplines. And then the second part of my discussion today, since the organizer requests me to talk something related to Negara Brunei, perspective halal. So therefore, why not? We have to look the little bit overview of halal industry in Negara Brunei Darussalam, especially after the establishment of halal food control divisions, or what we call Bahagian Kawalan Makanan Halal (BKMH) in 2002. And so this division play a very important role, especially to materialize their duties in relation to Halal Meat Act 1998, the Enforcement Order Certificate and Halal Label 2005, and control the entry of meat that will be marketed in Negara Brunei Darussalam, and monitoring and observe the running of the center, the center of halal slaughtering certificate and so on. And for your information, Negara Brunei Darussalam is a very unique country because all halal restaurants in Negara Brunei Darussalam have to obtain, have to get the permissions or a halal certificate, otherwise cannot be declared as halal restaurant in Negara Brunei Darussalam. In another word, it is a must. It is a must to obtain or to get a halal certificate from the authority, especially from the BKMH under the Ministry of Religious Affairs. Okay, now we found so many problems and so many issues, and as mentioned by the previous speakers, these issues, this problem have to be settled not only by the Sharia scholars, including also scientists, especially those who related to the technology, in order to verify or authentications of the products. So we appreciate all the halal institutions in the world, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, as well as in Thailand and in Europe. So as far as Brunei is concerned, especially in the Universiti Islam Sultan Sharif Ali, or UNISA, we try to solve the problem based on education. So that is why we established halal education in Negara Brunei Darussalam, especially after the titah of His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassanah Bolkiah of Brunei Darussalam in the UNISA convocations 2016, and after that immediately the UNISA take the actions and what we call make an i'lan to open the jawatan that related to the halal. For the first time, during that time I was in the IPPH, Institut Penyelidikan Produk Halal of Universiti Putra Malaysia, as a contract staff, and then when my contract expired in the UPM, I what we call continue my academic journey in UNISA, for who are responsible to design this Halal and Thayyiban Research Center in Negara Brunei Darussalam. I understood that this is one of the contribution in order to settle the problem that we aware today, whether in relation to marketing, in relation to branding, in relation to standard, in relation to the policies, in the relation to the authentication, traceability, and so on. So therefore, we established the center called as Pusat Penyelidikan Halal Thayyiban. And the word Halal Thayyiban is originally or derived from the words of the Holy Quran, as you already know, Kulu mimma fil ardi halal thayyiban. PPHT as another institution becomes a one-stop center, as a research center, as a study and teaching, as well as a professional service center. So in this regard, the objective also including as one-stop center, as I mentioned to you, so no need to read again and again, but basically our main duty including three aspects as I mentioned to you. And we have our own vision, mission, and motto. Even though we, the name of us called as a center, but our responsibility as we actually like the faculty, because we offer also the program from the bachelor until the postgraduate, master, and PhD, and in PPHT or Pusat Penyelidikan Halal Thayyiban, or English what we call Halal Thayyiban Research Center, have two laboratory, what we call Halal Management and Laws, and the second one, Laboratory of Halal Science and Authentication. And for your knowledge, the A related to Sharia, related to the social science, and B related to the science and technology. And Alhamdulillah, the government already approved our laboratory with a budget, and then Pusat Penyelidikan Halal Thayyiban is planning to move to the next buildings, what we call far away from the center, around I think 80 kilometers, with the laboratories, and inshallah will operate soon, tentatively in January 2022. So by that we can play our role more than social and Sharia perspective, including also halal science and also innovation, as well as into authentications. So in regard to academic program, as I mentioned to you, we have Bachelor of Halal Science. At the same time also, we have minor program in Halal Science. And Alhamdulillah, even we have very small academic staff, but we have very big number of the students in this level. So this indicate that the student, especially what we call the people of Brunei, are interested about halal issue and aware about the importance of that. What we call as supported or confirmed by the very well-known Muslim scholars called Imam Al-Ghazali in his book Ihya Ulumuddin, who say that Talbu al-halal faridatun ala kulli muslim wa muslimah. That means to command or to know, to study, to teach or to disseminate halal halal science or halal knowledge is a compulsory for the Muslim and non-Muslim. Okay, for the next bachelor, we have also master program, whether by research or by coursework and dissertation. And recently we offer by coursework only. So very interesting. And as far as the halal education is concerned, especially in Indonesia, we have to design to make sure that the graduate of halal, Bachelor of Halal Science can answer and respond to the issue, to the question, to the problem which has been raised by the community. For this reason, the student have to master. Please move to the next slide. Among the list of the course offered for the bachelor program, Sharia and Life. Number one, we have to make sure that as far as the life is concerned, we have to be considered that Sharia as the way, as the means to understand our life and to make sure that we are happy not only in this life as well as in the hereafter. And the next subject, what we call Introduction to the Halal Tayyiban. And the next one, objective, the Islamic law in halal industry. When we come to the objective, this is the maqasid. Because in our contemporary life, sometimes we are not able to find directly the evidence from the Holy Quran and the Sunnah, especially if, for example, halal product become very difficult to detect. So therefore, we have to know the maqasid of the Sharia in order to know the status of the product. So this one also need at least one semester to understand and to study, because so many material what we call should be understood. And then so I hope the students are able to apply the objective of the Islamic law in the halal contemporary product that they are facing today. And the next one, legal maxim in halal industry. This is what we call al-qawaid al-fiqhiyah. This is also the means to understand the Sharia based on the al-qawaid al-fiqhiyah, which has been said by the Muslim scholars. And normally, this legal maxim considered as the saying of the Muslim scholar in the light of the Quran and the Sunnah. So therefore, very interesting. We consider this is also the evidence for the Muslim to justify or before issue any verdicts that related to the halal product. And no doubt halal fatwa, we have a different, even though we have Brunei Darussalam, they have their own fatwa, Malaysia have the fatwa. Thousands fatwa has been issued by the Mufti. So why not? We have to expose this kind of halal fatwa to our students to make sure that they are updating the knowledge that related to the halal. And finally, the way also to train them to understand the status of the product. Halal logistic and philosophy of halal and haram in Islam also very important, because you know, everything need a philosophy, right? Philosophy of Sharia, and then we know what is the wisdom behind halal and haram in Islam. Sometimes we may understand the wisdom and sometimes we may not understand. So we regularly question by non-Muslim. Why, for example, the pork or the carrions or the blood has been prohibited by the Islamic law? That is why we have to teach the student to know the philosophy behind that. So because we as people or as the human being, we are very limited knowledge. We are also in the status of weaknesses, but to know the fact or the reality, let me trust what has been what we call mentions in the Quran and with the Islam philosophy, right? Okay, halal lottery management also become very big issue, and then we hope in the future what we call Indonesia may lead the halal lottery management. Not non-Muslim country for example, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, or Thailand. So since Indonesia has a very large population of the Muslim populations, so why not? We have to understand halal slaughtering management in line with the Sharia as well as in line with the modern practice of slaughtering by using very good technology in to save the cost as well as for the safety or as well as for the fulfill the requirement of the Sharia. And no doubt the next one, halal industry food and management and halal policy standard and regulation. So many standards being practiced here and there. So I consider this is the applications or in another word, operational definitions about something related to the halal by which all halal industry players have to practice in according to the halal policy or according to the standard and according to the regulation. Because sometimes what has been found in Quran and in Sunnah or what has been found in legal maxim, what has been found in so many hadiths, sometimes contradict and in abstract manner, so difficult for industrial player to understand. So that's why we put what we call under the policy or standard and regulations. So therefore, the industry player have to comply with all this kind of the policy. Halal product service and management, and then the most important verses of the Quran of halal and haram. This subject may be new. I still remember my Professor Dr. Shuhaimi Mustafa, what we call request me to find out what is the real answer based on Quran, based on Sunnah in regard to the halal and haram. So maybe this one 10 more years ago, but finally when I have the opportunity to design what we call the course online in Brunei Darussalam in Indonesia, I consider this is a very important subject. And finally, this subject has been offered several semesters in Indonesia. And we found hundreds, if not thousands, of the verse of the Quran repeatedly mention the word halal, repeatedly mention the word haram, repeatedly mention the word mutashabihat, and they so several times mention the word tayyibat. What is the significance behind that? So very interesting when we study about this kind of the subject in order to know what is the secret behind halal, haram, as well as tayyibat, what is the real command of Islam in regard to this. So no doubt we have to refer to the primary source of Sharia, that is Al-Quran, As-Sunnah, and so on. And also we have hadith, we have halal sign in ASEAN. So we'd like to make sure that the student also know the halal sign not only in Brunei as well as in regional area, especially from Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, and so on. So we try to widen the perspective of understanding halal as much as possible, but in line with the concept of Negara Brunei Darussalam, which has been known as Negara Zikir, Negara Zikir, as well as Negara Baldatun Tayyibatun Warabun Ghafur. And then Negara Brunei also practice in according to Mazhab Al-Shafi'i, but does not mean that the another Mazhab cannot be practiced in Brunei, but official Mazhab is Al-Shafi'i. Fiqh management, administration, and halal tourism, halal restaurant, halal product entrepreneurship, and so on. So this is, I hope with this kind of the knowledge, the student can develop themselves in order to understand halal, haram, mutashab better and better, and finally apply to the society, to the government agency, and so on. And no doubt, the most important one is master and PhD level. So allow me to share maybe the subject that we offer for master and PhD. For the slide, please go to the slide related to the current and future courses, training, and professional service in UNISA. So finally, we conduct several training for the local as well as international participants. We call several names, for example, halal executive course, halal internet audit, halal slaughtering, course on of halal awareness. So I think several courses here, and some of them has been implemented already, alhamdulillah, and some of them still what we call still in practice. Okay. So I think one of for the future, HTRC future direction and the way forward, I in fact have another slide by which I'm not able to share with you because I share only one file. But let me give you briefly about our future planning to make sure that we together may able to uphold the sanctity of halal. So as far as Halal Tayyiban Research Center is concerned, we already have our own strategic planning from 2018 until 2022. So we have 4 strategic core planning. One's related to student academic excellence, development, creativity, innovation as a stream. The second strategy called as empowering research and publications. The third strategic core is professional service, knowledge transfer and community engagement. And number 4 is staff development and good community. So under all these strategic planning, we have several activities. For example, to upgrade the name of our center to become, so this slide, actually, I do not attach to you the another slide, but I have, so therefore, sorry for that, but I try to summary to you. Because I believe that to make sure that our center can compete or can fulfill our duties, that namely to uphold the sanctity of halal, we have to think beyond. So as I mentioned to you, number 1, we are thinking to upgrade our center from the center to the faculty. And in fact, this has been approved by our university already, but we are still in the process of finding the new name to replace Halal Tayyiban Research Center. And so we try to diversify the program, also including the number of the admissions, including also what we call to increase the number of academic staff. And therefore, your information, if you are interested, UNISA is now what we call at glance several academic positions in several faculties, including also for the academic position in Halal Tayyiban Research Center. So please do not miss the flight. If you are interested, please apply as the position. And also we are going to increase the number of lecturer, tutor. We would like to make sure that we have more global networking. And Alhamdulillah today, we have our collaborator, AACIM, because before this we have we collaborate with UPM, with UM, with UITM, with several universities in Malaysia, in Indonesia, for example, Malang University and Malang Islamic University, and so on. But now, Alhamdulillah, we come across with the new institution. I think very important for us to collaborate. That is AACIM, Asian Associations for Consumer Interest and Marketing. And for your knowledge, we also offer the course called Halal Consumerism. So we hope by offering this course, we need also your expertise to disseminate the knowledge that related to the consumerism. So and then the second strategy, what we call empowering research and publications. So I think in another university also same thing. So therefore, in order to materialize this kind of our future planning, we are looking to have as much as possible the proposal for the research. We want to make sure that we have high impact research, high impact publication and research fund from local as well as from the international fund. And so we are going to establish a research group, research collaboration, and also and so on. And then the third strategy called as professional services, knowledge transfer, and community engagement. So under this strategy, we have several action plan, including also research outcome to disseminate to the community, and networking again, and so on. And finally, staff development and work culture as a workshop. So this is also very important for us to make sure that we always have where the strong spirit in order to contribute for the Muslim Ummah, especially for the halal sign, that to uphold the sanctity of halal tayyiban product. We have to work not just to get the money